thought, I wonder if this guy's just calling my chain, Then I realized he wasn't. Some of the people parked under the building, it was underground parking, and some of them parked at the back. Now in the wintertime, if you live in Toronto, you have to park at the back. The building, that's not a very good place. Because you're liable to come up and your car's covered in ice. It's cold, you've got to clean it all out. So I said, are you serious, John? He said, yeah. I said, John, if you would open your mind and listen, I can show you how to buy the whole damn building. He sat down, he opened his mind. Do you know, this is so true. If you have too little confidence, you think you can't learn. If you have too much, you'll think you don't have to learn. You've got to have that certain degree of confidence. I love the way Buckminster Fuller put it. He said, you never change things by fighting existing reality. To change things, you have to build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. If you're stuck, if your organization's stuck, build a new model. I was saying to Darren at the back, my understanding of network marketing, I've been around it since it started. A lot of people, they're just running out selling product. That's not my idea. You have to sell product, absolutely. But the idea is you build an organization that product flows through. You've got to build the people. They'll move the product. If you don't know what the people at your organization want, you will never inspire them. You've got to know what they want. You've got to help them decide on a goal. You've got to help them see how they're going to get to where they want to go. I'm going to touch on goals, but I don't have enough time here at my command to do it properly. We're running we're running a goals seminar in Los Angeles at the end of the month, and we're streaming it, so it doesn't matter where you are. You can get in it. It's very inexpensive, and you can learn a lot. See, there's a difference between setting a goal and goal achieving. You're using two different parts of your personality. You use your intellect to set a goal, but you use the universal side of your mind to achieve. Achieving a goal is a lawful process. You've got to understand the laws. You've got to understand how to work with the law. Nothing happens if you don't work with the law. And most people don't understand that. Well, so we want to build a model that does that. Paradigms. A mental program that is almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. And remember, almost all of our behavior is habitual. Now, I want you to stop and think of how your paradigms impact your life. The areas that it impacts your life. Pay particular attention to this, because it's mind-boggling. Your paradigm controls your perception. Your perception can change very rapidly. If I have a challenge or a problem that I'm having difficulty with, I write it on a piece of paper, and I put it in the center of my desk. And then I sit to look at it, and I ask, is the problem in me or is it on the paper? And I will not move until I get it out of me on the paper. Then I'll go and I'll sit at another place at the desk. And I would attempt to get into Earl Nightingale's energy, and I say, how would he perceive that? Then I'll literally get up and move and sit in another place, and I'll say, how would Napoleon Hill see that? We can do that. You can shift your perception. You can shift your perception of this industry, of this company, of what you're doing. Perception is how we see things, and we've got the godlike ability to move it. Your paradigm controls your use of time. Everybody gets the same amount of time. We get all there is. No one gets any more time than another. Some people will accomplish more in a week than other people will in a year. Your paradigm controls your creativity. There's a lot of people think they aren't creative. They say, well, writers are creative, artists are creative. Everyone's creative. We're created in God's image. We're doing God's work. You say, what's God's work? Well, God being the creator, God's work is creation. So, if we're doing God's work, then we're creating. We have creative faculties. Do you know what your creative faculties are? Because most school never teaches it. Most people don't know what their creative faculties are. Your effectiveness is controlled by your paradigm. Do you know you shift your paradigm, you become so much more effective? In 1 year, I multiplied my income by over times 40. No formal education, no business experience. Just do what he's told. Do what the guy told. I became super productive. I didn't have any more time. Your paradigm controls your productivity. Your paradigm controls your logic. You know something? Logic is that granite ceiling that's on top of us. You'll say, well, that doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't have to. That's totally illogical. Then it's probably good. Listen, we believed that the world was flat. Everybody believed it. And that was logical. How would you live on the side of it? Forget the bottom. Do you know who defied logic? The Wright brothers. They defied logic. They were bicycle mechanics. They weren't engineers. Can you imagine what their neighbors would think of them? I'm telling you, those boys. Their father was a bishop in some Orthodox church. He told them that they were going to burn in hell for suggesting they could fly. They introduced us to a new kingdom. I can drive a very short distance here, jump on a plane, and in 4 hours, 10 minutes, I'll be in Toronto. I'm glad the Wright brothers were illogical. Now, think of this. Your ability to earn money is controlled by your paradigm. When someone comes to work in our company, the first thing I ask them is, what's the most you've ever earned in a year? If I'm coaching someone, that's the first thing I ask them, what's the most you've ever earned in a year? I don't care what the answer is, but I want to know what the answer is, because their income measures their paradigm. Income is a marvelous yardstick. You can measure it right to the penny. Now understand this. Our paradigm keeps us boxed in. Some of you are trying and you hit the wall. You hit the walls. You're always hitting the walls. You have a breakthrough 1 month and then right next month you're right back where you were. I mean, you can relate to that. There's a couple of people held up their hands. Listen. When you understand and you decide that you're going to change your paradigm, the walls come down. That doesn't mean you change anything, but now the wall's not there. You don't bang against it. When you really change, I want you to imagine how your life would change, your entire life, as you begin improving any or all of these areas. The change that you experience will be huge. See, that's what happened. The change with me was so huge, it took me 9.5 years to figure it out. And I'll tell you something else. This is the most beautiful part of it. The change is permanent. It's permanent. You never go back because it becomes your habitual behavior. You can keep upgrading the habitual behavior. I've kept doing that, and I will keep doing that as long as I can breathe. Now think of this. I want you to imagine if that was the only thing you decided to change. Let's make up our mind. We're going to do something that's productive, that actually impacts results for 1 hour a day that we're not doing right now. Do you know that's 9 40-hour weeks over a period of a year? Think of the difference it would make. 9 40-hour weeks, 1 hour a day. It'll reflect in your income. It'll be huge. When paradigms stay in control, you're stuck. absolutely stuck. Now,